This is Eternal Blade, and welcome to part 43 of the bathroom tutorial, and we're going to continue our texturing. So, let's start with the tile floor. Well, continue with the tile floor. So, it's just this. We started off with the diffuse map, and it looks like this. So what I did was, one of the pictures on PhotoBucket is of a direct tile floor. I pasted that into Photoshop or GIMP, copied one tile, and simply made three more just like it, and I rotated them just slightly. That'll just give me kind of a varied appearance. I didn't really spend as much time as I could have on this. You can go all the way out and change the saturation of these or whatnot, maybe even find new designs online, but this is just to get a generalized appearance. As I remember, some of the tiles do look very similar. So I got that, and I put that in the diffuse slot with real world scale set, and mine was about 55 centimeters, so I just visually looked at it in the viewport by hitting show in viewport on the bitmap, and you can see about the size of it. I also changed the offset to minus 10.363. Yours will be different. What this does is just lines the edges up with the wall, just so I didn't have a random edge really close to the wall. Next, I changed the reflect to 49. This will give it pretty slight reflections. And I used a bitmap, which was floor reflect. So that was basically a desaturated version of that image I just showed you, with dark lines drawn in the inside, so that the grout doesn't reflect. And make sure you set the same size for this and offset, or else it won't work. You'll have random lines everywhere. Glossiness is 0.8. This will basically blur some of the reflections and make it not so sharp and whatnot. Alright. Next we have the floor reflect is also used in the bump slot, set it at 100%. This basically gives the tile appearance by sinking down the grout edges and then just producing some variation in the actual tiles themselves. It basically sums it up for that material, and again, these are V-Ray materials, don't forget that. And next, let's go on to the composite material. This is basically the material for the tub and the toilet. What we have here is a diffuse color set pretty high, 245. So basically white. We have a reflect value decently high, 44. This will give us some slight reflections, as well as a glossiness of 0.8 to blur them out a bit. You can see in here basically what we have. Something shiny that reflects a little bit blurry. You can change this to your personal preference, but this is what I thought would look best. We have, I think that was it for that map actually. Yep, that was it. It's just a straight composite kind of plastic material you see with reflections and a base diffuse map. Next we have the shower tile, and you can see it here. You can see also little tiles. So that would go on this wall right here behind the tub. And what we have there is again a diffuse of pretty high white. I used 231 in this case. A reflect value of 27. And this gives us reflections, except the thing that changes this from the tub is the reflect glossiness is set at 1, as these tiles are extremely reflective. You can see your face in them and whatnot. And I also set the subdivisions to 32 here, just to give it a nice clean reflection without any noise and whatnot. And I believe on the tub I may have done the same thing. Nope, I didn't. Okay, never mind. Let's see, what else do we have here? Now what makes the tiles tiles, and you can see in the image over here, they have this nice line and whatnot, is in the bump map. I use the tiles selection. You can find it in here, tiles. And then I showed the map in viewport and changed the size until I got perfect tiles. I used 50 centimeters by 50 centimeters in real world scale. And this is about the size that I thought the tiles were, based on all the reference images I had gotten and things. So you can play around with that and make it your own, but that's what I thought worked best. and then you scale the bump up all the way to 100. This will give it the nice tiled, deep set appearance, which is exactly what we want. And I believe that's all for the shower tile material. Next, let's go on to the paint. This is basically for the doors and the molding, as well as, I believe, the ceiling. So we again have a white diffuse color. I use 234 here in the value. The glossiness is set at 0.6 to basically diffuse all the reflections and whatnot. So it's kind of very vague and misty. You're not really seeing much. At the same time, the reflections are set at 50 because I know they can catch the light pretty well. And for the bump, I have a mix map here of two things. The first one is a picture of a dirt map. Now, I don't think this will actually work for some reason, but what it is I googled dirt map. Oops, without the other thing. I don't know why that one's not showing up, and I basically chose one of these. You can really choose any one, so I think I used this one actually. We've got some nice cracks in it and variations, and I got rid of the crack actually in Photoshop. And you just basically save that off and paste it into color 1. And this will give it a slight variation in the color. And in color 2 is simply a noise map with a noise set at 80 and all the other settings left the same. This is basically giving it color variation. Make sure you set the mix amount to 50 here, so you get half of the first map and half of the second map. Alright, and subdivisions again are at 32. Fresnel reflections are set to 2.5. This is about the index of refraction for paint and whatnot. This should actually be called white. Let's see, I think that is all for this material. Didn't do anything special there. Last we have, what is this? Oh, this is a test material I was making. That's nothing. So, in the next part, actually, we probably have time in this part. Let's look at the metal dark. This is the metal for the shower bars, the door handles, all the shower things in here. So we basically have a V-Ray blend material as our base material. Or not our base, but our overall material, which has two materials in it. A metal dark material and then another one. So let's go with the base material first. I basically chose a really low value for the overall diffuse of 6 because this metal starts off very dark. I mean, you look at the darkest part of the metal and make that the diffuse color. And in here, I added a noise map with one color that was dark of 1, and then another one that was kind of reddish brown with 23, 216, and 13. This is very dark brown just to give it that kind of swirly appearance. In my reflect slot, I also use a noise map, and in this one the colors are just kind of a brown, a light brown, and then a dark brown. And then these are basically creating different noises and whatnot. And you can make those black and white or whatever. Actually, no, you can't. Not in the reflex plot. Yeah, because these are the colors that the light actually reflects when it comes off. So the highlights will be, this light color, and then the shadows will be this dark color. And size was set to 4. And I have the glossiness set at 0.9 to kind of dull down the reflections, make them not as sharp. And the index Fresnel reflection set, index of refraction to 30. Let's see here. I used a couple of noise maps, and you saw the one in the diffuse and in the reflect. The last one we have is a mix map for the bump. Now, I used a noise for color 1, size of 1, everything else set the same. And I used a dirt map, again for color number 2. You can use the same one that you used before, or you can create a new one. I think I actually used the same one, but again, I don't know why the little thing broke and I can't get to it. So I have to find out where the image went. So I did that, and that's basically the first material. Second material is another V-Ray material with a dark diffuse of 6 and a noise map again in here with a little bit different colors, just kind of a gold and then a dark brown, and 37, 115, 53, and 21, 132, 27. Reflection glossiness is 0.91. That'll give a little bit diffuse things. Index of refraction is 30 with Fresnel reflections. And we have basically the same exact noise maps. And yep. So except this one's a little bit darker. This is 9, and then this is all 0. So basically pitch black. And then yeah, mixed map's the same. This is where we get two materials that are slightly different. That'll kind of blend through. One a darker one, and then the other one slightly lighter in colors. Alright, and then you set your blend amount to a V-Ray dirt, and this will make it so the edges are kind of, the inside edges are darker where the shadows are, and you'll see the kind of color bleeding through. And the radius of 50.8 is what I used. And then you want to do, in the unincluded color, you want another V-Ray dirt. What this does is it basically layers the effect so it's more visible. So you go in here, it's the same, the same, the same, and then the last one is just normal. And like I said before, this layers the colors so you can darken it, darken the image. And that's basically it for the textures, really. Like I said, they're pretty simple, but the results are pretty stunning. You get a very lifelike bathroom, and that sums it up. I hope you all have thoroughly enjoyed this tutorial. I know it took me a long time to get to the texturing part. Hopefully you learned a bit from this. I know it wasn't as slow as I normally go, but I want to work on other projects and whatnot, and hopefully get some more tutorials out for you guys pretty soon. I'm thinking maybe of a kitchen or some other part of a house, or who knows what. Maybe something that just interests me. But thank you all for subscribing and whatnot, and post your comments and whatnot, video responses if you guys want to show off your final product. Maybe if you have comments on the textures or whatnot, or ways to improve them. Post whatever you want. Be nice, and have a great day. I'll see you guys in the next tutorial whenever it comes out. Thank you.